Hi everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey, and it's Fresh Catch Friday. If you're new here, hi and welcome, and this is where we just kind of take some of the recent new releases that came out on vinyl and talk about them, and there's a price list alphabetically posted down below, so if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, you can kind of find out where we are and skip ahead. I always start out with my pick of the week or picks of the week. I usually don't pick reissues, but when something is given a wonderful deluxe treatment that is just this fabulous, we're going to pick that. Anyway, yeah, let's just get to it. My pick for you this week, is Jim James' Regions of Light and Sound of God. And this originally came out in 2013. It was Jim's first solo album away from My Morning Jacket. And this deluxe edition here, it's got the holographic rainbow sleeve. It's in a gatefold. I think that might be an X-ray, because here's the deal with this. It came out in 2013. It was sort of beginning, like getting recorded around in the time like 2011, but in 2008, he had a very bad accident falling off the stage that caused him like a real spot of bother, you would say. He was in the hospital for a long time, and just you just don't know if you're going to recover when you're the person experiencing a really bad injury like that. So this album's pretty introspective, and it deals a lot with thoughts about kind of dark things, thinking a lot, I guess you could say, about death and how finite our time is. But there's also a lot of love and hope in this record. Typical Jim James, of course there is. But anyway, it's such a beautiful record, and here the second disc, the bonus disc, gives you 12 B-sides. Those are like demos, and there's an alternate version of things like State of the Art. You get the demo for that, and your previously unheard ballad that's called Begin Again. And anyway, this thing is housed in this rainbow foil tip-on gatefold jacket. And like I said, I think that might be an X-ray from back in the time. I have to delve into that and see if I can find out for sure. You also get this insert that has kind of lovely handwritten lyrics and stuff like that. Those are always very cool to have. So that's there. And I want to show you how pretty this vinyl is. Oh, there's like, what did they call it? Revised artwork. So anyway, there's the one sleeve and then the other. And the vinyl is beautiful. It's clear with purple blob, I guess you could say. But anyway, this is what it looks like, and it's so gorgeous. So yeah, really happy. I kind of have been waiting for them to do the deluxe treatment of this record for a while now, and so happy that it's out. So anyway, that's my pick for you this week. It's a beautiful one, and yeah, you can't get much better than that. So yes, reissues, yes. Convention be damned. We're talking reissue for pick. Okay, so let's get on with the rest of what's in here. And we'll start out with this. It's Alkaline Trio, Hot Water Music. It's a split. It's on Epitaph, and this is a split EP by the punk rock band based in Chicago, Alkaline Trio, and the punk rock band based in Gainesville, Florida, Hot Water Music. This was first released by Alkaline Trio with drummer Derek Grant, who replaced the previous drummer, Mike Filumili, in July of 2001. So both bands later released these songs. Their songs from this EP on a compilation albums, and with tracks by Alkaline Trio that appeared on Remains in the 2007, and the tracks by Hot Water Music appeared on Till the Wheels Fall Off in January of 2008. Well, anyway, this is the 20th anniversary edition, pressed on silver vinyl, and that is here for you now. Also, okay, this is an odd one, I thought, but it's Arlie. It's called Break the Curse, and it is on Atlantic. So this is Arlie's freshman LP. It's a joyful, artfully minded indie pop album that was conceived by frontman Nathaniel Banks and co-produced by the band members. Taking flight from where their 2018 debut EP Wait left off. And this full-length album finds Arlie drawing on timeless pop influences to make music that is at once nostalgic and forward-thinking. It's laced with like a lot of hooks and deliberately naive sentiments and self-awareness, though kind of set against genuine grappling of the weight of the world, of existential despair that everybody's going through. It's like, we talked about it before. I can't wait for there to be an end to the Crybaby albums. I'm so over it. Anyway, this is a journey centered around the theme of transcending societal, cultural, and generational traumas, breaking the curse in order to blossom into one's true, authentic self and genuinely connect with others. Okay, yeah, all right, Arlie, you and everyone else. I don't mean to be cynical, but I guess I am at this point. Okay, next up, this is the Babies Anthology, the reissue on Chrysalis. This was originally released in 1981. It's a collection of the Babies' greatest hits covering 1976 through to 1980. They achieved 2 top 20 Billboard hits. One was Isn't It Time and Every Time I Think of You. And they released 4 albums and they split up in 1980. So vocalist and bassist John Waite went on to have like major solo career success as an artist, as well as being a member of supergroup called Bad English, and alongside a band member Jonathan Cain, who was the guy that used to be in the band Journey, on keyboards. So the band reformed in 2013 and they continue to tour. This is a constant seller on CD and unavailable on vinyl for quite a number of years. This is a 2022 remastered version and it's pressed on 180 gram clear vinyl. Okay, next up, this one, I think it was technically out last week, but, you know, again, sometimes these things don't come in when they're supposed to. And, you know, that's a bone of contention, but it's the way the industry is now. It's kind of one of the things that's hard about doing a Friday show of new releases is because you're to the 11th hour waiting for UPS or whoever, FedEx, to drop off shipments, and you know, things happen all the time, and just like with the way that the industry is and how it's all suffering from these supply chain issues, it's not always right on the mark. So that's why we give a little elbow room in between. All right, y'all, this is Beach Bunny. It's called Emotional Creature, and this is through Mom and Pop Music. It's the second full-length studio release for Beach Bunny, and they're a Chicago-based band that is led by Lily Trifilio, and it feels like an album with an identity crisis in a way. In some respects, while it's reliably pleasant to listen to, the highlights aren't especially clear-cut, and the record repeatedly feels like pulled in different directions on this one. It's not, well, I mean, it's kind of, you can understand that to be a sophomore album, it's always hard for people. They've reached their present success through a certain formula, and now they face a dilemma of whether or not to, like, you know, change it up or to just keep things as the status quo, right? This provides enough to keep their longtime fans happy, but it also invites an exploration into future evolution that they maybe will go through. It's one of those transition albums, and it's kind of its legacy is going to heavily depend on the reception of their future output. You know, it's growing up as hard, but for now, they this serves as a good solid portrait of a band in motion. You can get this several ways. Okay, we have it for you on CD, or let's see, this is orange yellow marbled vinyl and cassette. Oh, it's a purple cassette. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. This one, I'm just trying to see, I guess, yes, it does say exclusive orange and yellow marbled vinyl on the sticker, so hooray. They're giving us a break where we don't have to wonder about that. Okay, so that's the new Beach Bunny. Okay, next up, this one is called, this is from Beach Rats, and it's called Rat Beat, and this is through Epitaph. Against a backdrop of Asbury Park, New Jersey, then rock and punk history comes. Beach Rats, and with a membership that includes 4 New Jersey kind of punk stalwarts, including Brian Baker, who used to be in Minor Threat and Dag Nasty and Bad Religion, Ari Katz, who was in the band Lifetime, Brian Keeneland, and Pete Steinkopf from the Bouncing Souls, and rounded out by Danny Windus on drums. The Beach Rats, they play a brand of hardcore punk that stays true to their members' roots while creating something fresh and urgent. And anyway, the guitarist Brian Baker here, he says, I had moved to Asbury Park, and it turned out that Pete Steinkopf and Brian Keeneland from Bouncing Souls were going around, and they had the idea to do a fun side band. And they recently played together at a memorial for this guy, Dave Franklin, who was the Vision frontman who had passed away. And anyway, they had a great time, and it was the foundation of it. And well, anyway, it's a mix of the Jersey Shore thing and a bunch of guys that can endlessly create 80s hardcore. To some of their biggest influences like Negative Approach and Poison Idea, and of course Minor Threat. So this is on clear vinyl for you, and yeah, that's kind of a fun one. All right, next, this is also another great reissue. This is Blitzen Trapper. It's 7, and this one is on Vagrant Records. You guys know Blitzen Trapper is one of my favorites. 7 is the 7th studio album from the American alternative country band called Blitzen Trapper. Described on the band's official site as somewhat experimental, a futuristic hip-hop country rock hybrid, and by lead singer and songwriter Eric Early, as he calls it, hillbilly gangster. 7 was the first record Blitzen Trapper released with Vagrant, and they're working their way back on this one somewhere in between. If you're familiar with their other records, this one kind of falls in between where Wild Mountain Nation left off and before Fur began. They're sort of back to the roots of that. Harmonica, walking bass line, real vivid imagery. They're familiar, but it's still good to hear them experiment and go off the beaten path. You know, you'll kind of hear like hearkening back nods to Beck's Odelay, days, and Stevie Wonder kind of vibe comes up in there too. This is a really great album. It's on orange translucent vinyl through Vagrant, and yeah, we love them. So that's another great one to try. There's some good reissues coming up. Okay, now this one here, this is Eric Clapton, Nothing But the Blues, and this is through Reprise. It's the soundtrack that features more than an hour of previously unreleased performances live recorded in 1994 at the Fillmore in San Francisco during the legendary guitarist tour, supporting From the Cradle. That was his Grammy-winning multi-platinum blues record. So they have that on vinyl now. Okay, these are some more reissues here. Excuse my cord here. I'm just going to move that back a little to get it out of my way. All right, this is the Cribs, Men's Needs, Women's Needs, Whatever, on Sonic Blue, the 3rd studio album from the English indie rock band The Cribs, originally released in 2007, follow-up to their 2005 breakthrough album, New Fellas. The past success allowed them the freedom to pick their producer, and the band ended up choosing Franz Ferdinand main man Alex Kapranos for this one. He was on the same musical wavelength and understood what they wanted to achieve here. Features 12 tracks, including the first single, Men's Needs. And if that wasn't enough, they also reissued New Fellas, also on Sonic Blue. This one was the 2nd studio album, released in 2005. So these guys are 3 brothers, and they're from Northern England, and they're from Leeds, like Gang of Four. Their sound is all over the place. It's energetic rock. At times it seems very mod and grunge and pop, and they sing songs about everyday life. They may kind of sound like the Jam or the Buzzcocks, or sometimes even Nirvana, but they end up kind of sounding like nobody else. And they have an interesting way of phrasing their lyrics. They seem kind of half-spoken, half-sung. After working to reclaim the rights to their masters, the Jarman brothers spent time digging through old boxes and drawers and session notes even old email accounts to ensure that their fans get everything on these reissues. And I think that there is even one more, but you know, it could be again stuck in somewhere. These are the two that came in. Okay. New today too. This is from Dance Gavin Dance. This is called Jackpot Juicer. This is on Rise Records. Great cover art there. They always have kind of great cover art. Post-hardcore renegades Dance Gavin Dance. They've returned with their 10th studio album here. It's a combination of post-hardcore, progressive rock, and plenty of experimental material. They've stayed consistently busy with plenty of releases since their 2007 debut. This is 18 tracks and well over an hour of play. They have plenty of new material to keep their fan base happy here. This is on lavender marble vinyl. It also comes in addition of red, yellow, and black vinyl, but we have sold out of that one. This one tells you here that it's the lavender one, so that is on the sticker. We'll hopefully get the other one back in again, but it went today. All right. Now we have 5 Emperor reissues on the Spine Farm label. And so let's see here. First one up is Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. Okay, so all of these are on Spine Farm, coming to you from them. There comes a time when the hype about a band kind of becomes superfluous and their status alone speaks volumes. And that is the case with Emperor, the black metal gods from Telemark, Norway. Emperor has become known as one of the originators of symphonic black metal. And Norway is renowned for that. I mean, usually with black metal, Norway is considered, that's the cradle. That's where the good stuff comes from. So this remastered LP, recut at half speed and at Abbey Road and pressed on black, white, green swirl vinyl and fully restored artwork. All right, so next up is their debut EP, just self-titled, and this was released in 1993 through Candlelight Records, and the EP was made into a split album with Enslaved's EP, Hordanus Land. In 1998, it was reissued with their demo Wrath of the Tyrant, and the songs Wrath of the Tyrant and Night of the Graveless Souls were re-recorded and were originally on the Wrath of the Tyrant demo. This one, again, remastered, recut, half speed, Abbey Road, pressed on black and red swirl with fully restored artwork. All right, then this one is In the Night Side Eclipse. Okay, and this was the first studio album and 4th official release by Emperor, released in 1994 through Candlelight. It was their only album to feature drummer Faust and one-time bassist Chort, T-C-H-O-R-T, Chort, yeah. Again, this whole thing remastered, recut at half speed, Abbey Road Studios, pressed on white and blue swirl, and that fully restored artwork. All right, the next one is IX, you guys. What in Roman numerals is IX? I want to say, is it 9 or is it 11? It's one of those, right? I think is it 9? Maybe it's 9. I always forget when it's got the one. But anyway, IX Equilibrium. Okay. 3rd studio album by Emperor. It was released in March of 1999 in Europe and in April in the US through Candlelight. Remastered, recut, half speed, same thing, pressed on black and brown swirl with that original artwork. And lastly, this one is Prometheus, the Discipline of Fire and Demise, the 4th studio album by Emperor. And this one was released in October of 2001. It differs from Emperor's previous recordings, where the focus was more a progressive style, a more progressive style for them. Anyway, same thing, remastered, recut at half speed at Abbey Road and pressed on black, gray, blue swirl with fully restored artwork. Okay, so if you were lacking in your Emperor collection, you got it now. It's all here. Okay. Okay, now this one's another reissue. This one is Fear Factory, Soul of a New Machine. This is the deluxe version. This is Rhino Custom Indie Retail, and this they're collaborating with Run Out Groove. if you don't know the story about Run Out Groove, they do a certain number of pressings where they kind of, I think it's Run Out Groove that does it. Gosh, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but I believe Run Out Groove are the ones where they sort of advertise that they want to press up a new record, and people sort of like vote it up, and then they decide how many they're going to press. I think it's them that does that. Anyway, if I'm wrong, I'll try to figure it out, and I'll correct myself next week, or one of you can jump on here and correct me. Believe it or not, this is the okay, these guys, they're an American industrial metal band. Okay, they formed in Los Angeles in 1990. Throughout their career, they've evolved through a succession of sounds, all in the main style and groove of metal and industrial metal. They've been enormously influential on the heavy metal and industrial scene, mainly into the mid-90s to late 1990s, but still inspiring young musicians today. Soul of a New Machine is their debut album for Roadrunner Records, and it came out in 1992. And although this record was Fear Factory's first, wait a minute, sorry, I'm just losing my place with my own notes. It's been a very long day, so forgive me for that. Okay, this record was their first studio album to be released, but it was actually their second album to be recorded after Concrete, which was recorded in 1991, but not released until 11 years later. I'm not sure why that was, but that's the way it was. So this 30th anniversary is numbered, limited edition black vinyl, 3 LPs, released on vinyl for the first time in North America. It includes the Fear is Mind Killer EP, plus unreleased instrumental mixes, and it's also been remastered, and it includes a poster and a patch. So that's a nice one for somebody who's into that, huh? Okay, this is Grateful Dead Europe 72. This is on Grateful Dead production label, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Grateful Dead's iconic Europe 72 tour, with the original Europe 72 album newly remastered. They've done tape restoration and speed correction with mastering by Grammy Award-winning engineer Dave Glasser. It was produced for release by David Lemieux, 180-gram black vinyl. In another industry-defying move, the Grateful Dead followed up their first gold record, the 1971 live showcase Skull Roses, with another live album, one that to most fans and critics surpassed even the excellence of that record. And from April 7th to May 26th in 1972, the Dead performed and recorded 21 live concerts, plus a set in a television studio, with every night being an exceptional display of the magic that was uniquely the live Grateful Dead. So these concerts and this tour, 50 years later, are still considered one of the highest of the high points in the Grateful Dead's performing career. In an era when a double album was rare enough, the Dead outdid even their own lofty standards by producing a 3 LP masterpiece that to this day is considered one of the finest live albums ever produced. So it's remastered from the original analog tapes, and the album has never sounded better. So that's a big one, too, another kind of big reissue. All right. This is the Heavy, Life and Life Only, and it's through ATO. They're led by lifelong musicians Will Turner and Georgie Fuller. They're a Brighton, UK-based band, and they create kind of a unfettered rock and roll that is like a, reverb-drenched kind of psychedelia and blues and acid rock, sunshine pop. It's all those things intermingled. As revealed on their gloriously hazy debut EP, Life and Life Only, they breathe a wild new energy into sounds from decades ago. So they kind of transcend over different eras, but with, it's very hypnotic and very easy, and it's kind of cool stuff. Something different. Now this one, I put a piece of paper in here so I don't get kicked off YouTube for showing you nudity, but this is The Hotelier, and this is Goodness, and this is through Revolver and Tiny Engines. This is the third full-length release for the Massachusetts indie rock band. And here they showcase their growth, emphasizing how they've changed and developed as humans and as musicians. I'm sorry, you guys. I always get coughing when I have to talk so much. They're learning to let go of the past and appreciate the present. Goodness is less immediate than its predecessor, which was called Home Like No Place Is There. Let me see. So, that one had much more tension and nervous energy about it. This is replaced now with this real warm glow and a real fullness. And this is a very, intimate record. People that, heard it the first time around. I'm trying to think when it was first released. I want to say 1997, but I could be incorrect with that. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's kind of got this nudist colony on the front of the cover. And that's why, like I said, if I'm holding it up for you, I just don't want to get shut down for nudity. But anyway, there you go. This is another reissue for Jethro Tull. This is Thick as a Brick through Rhino Parlophone. It's to celebrate its 50th anniversary. Thick as a Brick has been reproduced in its original format with the legendary 12-page newspaper package. So they brought back how it was when it originally came out. And this is it's a half-speed master of the Stephen Wilson 2012 remix. And we talked about Steve Wilson last time, the leader of Porcupine Tree, and he's such a he's so into prog rock, and he does such a good job with doing remixes for bands like this. So he's at it again, and now you have Thick as a Brick. What was the one that we had last time? I'm trying to remember. I know it was only a couple weeks ago, and it's already out of my head. Gosh, I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, this time around it's Thick as a Brick. Maybe there's more to come too. All right, this is Kowloon Walled City. It's called Piecework, and this is on New Rot Recordings. They're an Oakland-based heavy metal music band, and this is their first album in 6 years. It's been a long period of time. It's very concise, very crystal clear. It feels almost... it's very provocatively unadorned, you would say. So since forming 15 years ago, this band has increasingly redefined, refined, deconstructed their approach to noise rock, math rock, and doom. That's kind of they're landing them on stages with very similar boundary-pushing bands like Neurosis, Yob, Sleep, Sumac, and Thou. Now with Piecework, their fourth album and the first in 6 years, Kowloon Walled City reaches new levels of restraint. The songs are bleak and slow and also shorter and more concise. 7 songs clock in at about 30 minutes, and there are sketches of near silence in this too, which is just bizarre. While the band have always operated under the MO that less is more, it has really doubled down on that for this. The songs are written more straightforward time signatures this time around. So it's just a little bit different from them. It's really showing a lot of restraint than what you're used to. And I want to say, this is not saying that it's uncolored vinyl, but I swear to you, I could see blue vinyl in there. So it looks like that one's colored too. This is Little Feat, Waiting for Columbus, and through Rhino Warner. The first live album from this band was recorded during 7 performances in 1977. The first 4 shows were held at the Rainbow Theatre in London, and the final 3 shows were recorded the following week at George Washington University's Listener Auditorium in Washington, D.C. The band were backed by the Tower of Power horn section, with whom they had recorded for their 1974 album, Feats Don't Fail Me Now. So brought them back for this live tour. Many of their more well-known songs were either reworked or extended. Like, for an example, one of their signature songs is called Dixie Chicken. It was heavily extended to include a very lengthy piano solo by their keyboardist Billy Payne and a Dixieland horn arrangement, and finally a dual guitar jam between the 2 guitarists Lowell George and Paul Barriere. It's remastered, 2 LPs, and available again like that. All right, this is John Mayall, The Sun is Shining Down. It's on 40 Below Records, and this is, believe it or not, album number 60 for John Mayall. Crazy. It was completed just before John Mayall announced he was hanging up his road shoes, but he noted he would still continue to record and felt excited by the work that he was doing. These 10 tracks showcase a cast of invited all-star guests, most of guitar slingers. After all, this is the man that, introduced everybody to Eric Clapton, Peter Green, Mick Taylor, and countless others. So this is an interesting thing. Album number 60 on blue vinyl. Okay, here's some Moby reissues. First of all is Ambient. This is on the Little Idiot label. It's the second studio album by American electronica musician Moby. First released in August of 1993. This is composed of electronic ambient pieces, similar to Aphex Twin's selected ambient works. And like Aphex Twin releases, the work is mainly instrumental, but the album has an experimental kind of a moody style to it. Many of the tracks are dark and unearthly, but there's also some more uplifting, danceable tracks, which are more beat-driven. Anyway, this comes on clear vinyl now, and I noticed that it is numbered on the back, but there's not a lot of information to say whether it's remastered or what. I'm not sure, so... but it's this one, for example, is number 0517 out of 4,000. So seems like a limited release, but really not a lot of info. All right, so this one is self-titled Moby on DEF, and this one is limited black, white, and blue marbled vinyl pressing. It's the debut studio album by the electronica musician. It was originally released in July of 1992, and this one is also numbered. It's number 1088 out of 5,500. So there's more to the story here with these, but I like I said, give me some info. I wish I knew what it was. All right, this is More Mother, called Jazz Codes. This is on the Anti label, her second album, and a companion for her celebrated 2021 release, Black Encyclopedia of Air. So Jazz Codes uses free jazz as a starting point, but the collection continues the recent turn in More Mother's multifaceted catalog toward more melody, more singing voices, more choruses, and it's very complex, but it's warm and it's layered, and jazz, blues, soul, hip hop all, get a nod in this work. Let's see. Through her work, Aiwa, that's her last name. What's her first name? Kame Aiwa. That's Ayewa. Aiwa. Anyway, illuminates the principle of her multidisciplinary collaborative practice called the Black Quantum Futurism. It's a theoretical framework for perceiving and adjusting reality through art, writing, music, and performance. And it's informed by historical Black ontologies. The songwriter, composer, vocalist, poet, and educator, Kame Aiwa, spent years organizing and performing in Philadelphia's underground music community before moving to Los Angeles to teach composition at UCLA's Thornton's School of Music. She released her debut album, More Mother, Fetish Bones, in 2016, and has since put out an abundance of acclaimed music, both as a solo artist and in collaboration with other musicians who share her drive to dig up the untold. And I'm sure we've talked about her before, but anyway, this one is on opaque turquoise vinyl. All right, this is the Offspring. It's greatest hits. It's on Round Hill Music. This is a compilation of theirs available for the first time on vinyl, originally released in 2005. These 14 tracks include hits like Original Prankster, Want You Bad, and it's on black vinyl for the first time. All right, now this is the Orion Experience, called Cosmic Candy, on Needle Juice Records, and it has to be one of the most underrated bands ever. It has this awesome 70s groove to a lot of their tracks, plenty of other 70s influence in their music, kind of disco tinged. It's very happy summer, up party music, and they still have a sound of their own though. And don't let the pop rock disco label fool you. It's like this is some great music. There's a male and female female duo, and the singing is pretty unique as well. And there's plenty of involvement from both vocalists, which you don't see that often, especially not for as many tracks as you see it on this album. The Candy edition is Orange Crush and Milky Clear Swirl vinyl. It's on 180 gram, and it does tell you the color right up in here, okay? Now this is the Reds, Pinks, and Purples and Summer at Land's End on the SLR label. This is the latest full-length release for Glenn Donaldson under the name The Reds, Pinks, and Purples, and it was self-recorded. Perfect pop for perfectly sad people, will never go out of style, and Summer at Land's End is more proof that he has the market pretty much cornered here. It might not be as immediate in places as some of his previous albums, but given time, these songs tend to like grow and blossom, very similar to the cover here, Opening Blossom. So you just got to give it some patience. And anyway, it's on translucent green vinyl. All right, whoops, don't everybody fall over. Let me move this so stop that from happening. All right, this is Maggie Rogers, Surrender, on Capitol. And now Grammy-nominated artist, producer, songwriter Maggie Rogers. Her new album, Surrender, is a follow-up to her beloved 2019 debut, Heard It in a Past Life, which entered the Billboard album top album sales chart at #1, and it debuted at #2 on the Billboard 200. It also landed Maggie a nomination for the Best New Artist and went on to amass over 1 billion combined global streams. Wow. Surrender is the sound of Rogers coming into her complete self as an artist and choosing to be positive, and be a force for good that she wants to see in both the pop world and the real world. So this is the indie exclusive on Tangerine Dream vinyl or cassette. And it's just a black cassette though. But anyway, because we got the indie exclusive, they also sent along these. So we put, the album is shrink wrapped, but we put it in one of these poly bags for here if you kind of get it from us. They sent us, just these things, but also a little signed card that she did hand sign. So we have that for you all together as one thing, and we put it in these extra polyvinyl bags just so that wouldn't get all macked up for you. So those are here, and then we have Amanda Shires, Take It Like a Man on ATO Records, and this is a Grammy and Americana award-winning singer-songwriter violinist Amanda Shires. And she's pushed the reset button with Take It Like a Man, a record that is so unlike anything she's ever recorded, but you would be kind of tempted to think it was her debut instead of her 7th. She also plays in The Highway Women. She's worked with producer Lawrence Rothman, who typically works with like Angel Olsen and Kim Gordon to make this fearless confessional, showing the world what turning 40 looks like. And 10 emotionally raw tracks. You can get this 2 ways. One is on clear red vinyl. Both come with a download. Clear red vinyl has this sticker, the little red one, but we also have for you the indie exclusive that is on white vinyl, and that's got the white sticker, but it does also say white vinyl. But anyway, the indie exclusive is the white one. The clear red is the regular one. Okay. All right, so when I was telling you that sometimes things don't come in, looking at the manifest of stuff that was ordered and is supposed to be coming in, excuse me, today is the day that the Eddie Vedder vinyl was supposed to be coming in for Earthling. Well, we got the cassette, vinyl's not here. So I'm hoping on Monday, and again, this is so just out of our control. It makes me crazy too, I know, but anyway, this is on the Republic label. It's this new album from Eddie Vedder, includes the tracks Long Way and The Haves and more. It's been out on CD and digitally for a while now, but the vinyl was like the last holdout, and the cassette, okay, that was supposed to be at the same time, but vinyl is out there somewhere and it's on the way. It was produced by Andrew Watt. It's a very tuneful set with appearances from like Stevie Wonder and Ringo Starr and Elton John. And it's the third solo studio album from Eddie Vedder. And vinyl, please hurry. Okay, next up, this we have, this is the Viagra Boys. And this is called Cave World. And the label is year 0001, so year one. The third studio album from the Swedish post-punk band Viagra Boys. In a time of strife and insanity and confusion, they're depraved enough to offer themselves up as herald, like sin eaters if sins had to be ingested from a very small spoon. They've consumed the utterly incomprehensible chaos of our era and distilled it into 12 immaculate tracks of post-truth, cow, funk, kraut, wave enlightenment. Anyway, this album is a pure feral attack, and it's an absolutely immense release. It's on black, green, or red vinyl, and the stickers are small, but like, you know, can I bring it in close enough where you can see where it says that it's on black vinyl, and then that's where you're going to find the info. The next one says that it's on green. Okay, see how tiny it is though? You got to really bring your magnifying glasses or ask somebody. And then this one is red. All right, so yeah, just ask somebody up the front if you can't figure it out, and they'll figure it out for you. Okay, but that is at least it's labeled with what color it is. But God, it could be a little bigger. Okay, anyway, next up is Yola Tango. I Can Hear the Heart Beating as One. This is on Matador. It's their monumental album. It's the album's 25th anniversary, and it's Rolling Stone calls it a stone cold classic. Pitchfork says they're the greatest band in the universe. The new pressing kicks off Matador's 2022 Revisionist History Catalog campaign. And this one announced itself as a definitive master statement of the subtly shifting moods and wide, curious palette of stylistic exploration, resulting in a lasting indie rock classic, essential listening, and also something of a blueprint for much of what followed. I think this came out in 1997. They're from New Jersey, I think, and it's a very sentimental. They really do that very real lyrics, and it's cool. Anyway, this is on 2 LPs on yellow vinyl. And that's here for you now. Okay, so that wraps up what I have. Again, I'm really sorry about the Eddie Vedder vinyl. I'm hoping for Monday. And the list posted down below, there might be some stuff on there that you'll see that we didn't talk about, and it's some things already sold out. We always have a busy Friday, and so that could be the reason that you're not seeing it on the list. And as soon as it sells out, of course, it gets reordered again, but we're doing our best here. Okay, so I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. I hope you find something you love here. Come on in and see us 10 to 4 every day of the week. Okay,